Hey everybody, how the heck are you guys doing? It is a beautiful day down south where I am, and I hope you're having a beautiful day. I hope you're blessed. I hope you're in the Word, and I hope you have the Messiah and the blood of the Messiah, and I hope you are living the dream, and the dream is the Torah. That is literally the dream, and when you live the dream, there's a guilt-free feeling that you get by doing this, and I cover every topic there is because I read a little bit of everywhere. And I'm not like a superstar in the Torah. I'm not, just, I've read it a lot of times. And a tremendous amount of times. And we read it as a family a lot of times, and we're always in it. In the morning, we always hit a little clip that we have that is the 613 Laws of Yah. That is, I play it in the house. Everybody gets up to it, so that we are always reminded about it, and we all wear our zeet seats, and the zeet seats are there to remind us that we need to be in covenant with our Creator, keeping His laws, statutes, and commands. And I will be the first to tell you, there's absolutely zero burden to it. In fact, it is a life of liberty. It's literally the Torah of liberty. It is a good life. It is a wholesome life. It is a holy life. And, our Creator is holy. We are called to be righteous. There's no way to know and be that unless we have the laws, statutes, and commands. Not just have them, but have written them on our hearts, minds, and souls, that we've fallen in love with them. Why would we not want to fall in love with this set of instructions that our Creator has given to us? He so graciously, not only did our Creator just make a plane and stick us in here with a dome over the top of us and give us an ecosystem and everything that we need to sustain ourselves. He gave us a doctrine. He gave us a how did this come to be? Where did this come from? Where did the floods come from? How did mankind get violated in the days of Noah? We didn't know any of this. We would have never known any of this. But our Creator has given us this kind of doctrine. And some people are like, well, it's all fake. It's a fake man in the sky. And if that is the case, then you have lived a very good life. You have lived a life that is a life of helping the orphans and the homeless, and not being evil, and walking a straight and narrow path. That is what the Torah is about. It's the way forward. It's not a set of laws that you must do this, but you should do this, because when you do this, you live longer. There's things that eating unclean foods can lead to our death. Wearing mixed linens, wool and linen, can lead to our harm, right? It can hurt us. Our Creator has told us this. We wouldn't know this unless our Creator has told us. No, my parents never told me anything about this. I didn't know anything about this. In fact, my mom eats the fat of the steak and drink. They don't drink the blood, but they have. We had medium rare steaks most of my life, and there's blood in the steaks. And I know some people say, "Nah, it's not blood," but you know what? It's close enough to blood. We shouldn't be eating the blood, and that is a commandment. So today's little, lesson or teaching or something that I want to go over with you guys is kind of a red flag to me. And this is, there's so many Palestinians that will fall upon their sword and say that the laws of God are no more because our brother Shaul has written something that is very complex. And Peter says if you're ignorant and unstable, you're not going to understand Paul's words. And so being ignorant and unstable, you're going to free yourselves from the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. And it is going to, it's just not a good thing. And so all my life in the Christian church, I have heard that women are not to be teachers. They're not to be, basically, they're in submission to men. And, that for the generation we are in, that is, one of those things that, people don't like. Women don't like, right? Women want to be equal to men. They want to go in the military. It's a estrogen-free, testosterone-free world that we live in now. It's like the women have more testosterone than the men do. And, that's all by design. That's all because they have taken the food that we have had and they poisoned us with GMOs and bad coloring food dyes and all this MSG stuff. And it goes on. The list of bad stuff that is available in the U.S. market it's almost, you have to go organic. And even then, they have their hands in the organic stuff and they're sneaking stuff in here and left and right. So when I am reading this with Brother Shaul, I struggled with it because it gave me red flags. And I want to read the entire chapter, so we're not reading something out of context and doing something here and there. But it is one of these things that we must discuss, and I think it's imperative that we discuss it, because if Brother Shaul's writings are not what we believe they are, then we have hampered an entire generation of people that should be ministering to others. Because let's get into it. 1 Timothy 2. I exhort, therefore, that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks be made for all men. That's pretty basic, right? He wants us to pray for men and interceding, having messengers help and things of that nature. And it's obvious when you beg and plead to our Creator that He works. He works on prayers. He listens. Verse 2, for kings and for all that are in authority, that we may lead a quiet and peaceable life in holiness and purity. Okay, so a lot of people have taken Brother Shaul and said, hey, Shaul says the Torah is no more, that we shouldn't be under this. When our Messiah said that I did not come to destroy the Torah, and that heaven and earth will pass away before any jot or tittle of the Torah will ever pass away. So he says right here, we're supposed to be living a peaceable life in holiness and purity. Now, you would have zero idea what holiness is unless you had the Torah. When you read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, which are the words of our Creator that He gave to us at Mount Sinai as He was there to walk with us as our God, as our Elohim, and us, His people, which we failed. We, not exactly, but our forefathers, the people that were given this opportunity, they heard Him rumbling and thunders and it like scared the heck out of these guys. And they said, Moses, you please represent for us. This is really scary to us. And so that's how it went down. But we're supposed to live holiness and purity, right? And so we wouldn't know what that was without the Torah. Verse 3, for this is good and acceptable in the sight of Elohim, our Savior, who will have all men be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. This is a Trinity buster right here. For there is one Elohim and one mediator between Elohim and men, the man Mashiach Yahushua, who gave himself a ransom for all to be testified in due time. Whereunto I am ordained a preacher and an apostle. I don't know by who, but he says he is, maybe by Yahushua. I speak the truth of Mashiach and not a lie. And what's in parentheses are what translators have put in there, and it's not what was actually there, but it's they're trying to define what they believe it says. And so he says, I speak the truth of Mashiach and lie not. A teacher of the other nations in faith and truth. I will therefore that men pray everywhere, lifting up holy hands without wrath and doubting. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array. Now, this is extremely good advice. And women, when you are a holy woman and you clothe yourself properly and you don't wear all these bedazzling stuff, this bedazzling stuff is fallen technology. This is from fallen angels. We didn't know how to dye our eyes and paste our face with all this stuff. And it is my honest opinion that makeup makes women look foul. It always has. You have no idea what the heck is under it. And I would never want to be surprised when somebody takes the makeup off and it's something I didn't, understand or see. So be who you are. Be who you are. Beauty is skin deep. And, don't do stuff that is going to attract men and unwanted attention. And you don't want to be one of those girls. You need to be holy. And this is really super good advice. And this is good advice for all men and women, right? Don't dress like bad people. Don't dress like the Gentiles do. You're not a Gentile. You're a child of Yashrael. You are Yah's people. And they don't dress like this, right? We're not there to get looks and things like this. We need to be modest. We need to be humble. We need to be holy in all of our apparel, the way we walk, the way we talk, the stuff we see, the people we hang out with, right? If it's gym time, when we go and hang out with whoever it is, whoever, those are the wrong people. We shouldn't be hanging out with them, right? Be holy as our Creator has. Verse 10, but which becomes women professing reverence for Yahuwah with good works. And so again, there's that parentheses, but it should read something like, but with good works. And so if a woman is professing reverence to Yahuwah, she should be holy. This is where my red flag comes up. And this is where I have never read this in the Torah about this. Not this particular part. Let me explain. Verse 11, let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Now, I don't understand this. And when I started trying to find this in the Torah, or any kind of references at all, I was unable to. Now, we know that the priesthood is for men, because that is what the rules and the guidelines are. And we know that I'm not going to say a proper place for a woman, but the proper role for women is inside of a family, inside of a home, building the homestead as the man, brings in the bacon. That's what it should have been, right? We should never ship our kids off to these 501c3 indoctrination schools. Mom, hook them up to a homeschool. You can do a far better job than you will ever do anywhere else. And just for the record, my kids were all 100% homeschooled, and everybody's like, oh, they're going to be jacked up, they're going to be all whack. And they do just fine. They talk to everybody just fine. You would never know that they were homeschooled by Papa. So, yeah, it's a myth. Homeschooling works, and it's good stuff. All right, now let's go on this whole thing. Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection. I don't know where this would be found. So, to me, this is something that Paul has added to the Torah. But I suffer not a woman to teach. He says, basically saying, I command not a woman to teach. You're not supposed to teach. I don't know where this is at either. I've never seen this. When I did a Google search for Judaism, or I did it for the Talmud, which is not what we should ever be involved with, which is the Jewish mysticism out of Babylon, which is like thousands and thousands of commands. And some of them, it's okay to have sex with a 3-year-old child, right? And it's okay. And there's rules for them that they call people who are non-Jews goyim, and they hate us, right? They literally hate us. And so it's just crazy. So I don't know where this is at, but in Judaism, there's stuff about this, right? And they talk about this. So if somebody has any kind of reference to anything in the Torah or anything in the prophets that has anything to do with women learning in silence, please let me know. I haven't been able to find this. And if I'm unable to find it and nobody else is able to find it, then I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know why a woman would learn in silence. I mean, when I sit around with my family, we're all reading the book. If something happens and we're learning, every one of us have questions, we bring it up. I have no idea why a woman would be silenced, right? Let's go on the thing. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man. Yeah, I don't believe a woman should have authority over man. That point, okay. But to be in silence. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Could anybody help me out with this? And this is, let's read it here in the King, just to make sure. Let the woman learn in silence and subjectation. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. And then NIV, it says, I do not permit. What do you mean he does not permit? Who is Brother Shaul that he would not permit a woman to teach or to assume authority over a man? She must be quiet. Where have I failed, guys? Where have I failed in my reading? Is there I guess at this point I need, everybody to confirm. And then if there's another witness that wants to stand up, then somebody be the first witness that this is what it is. Because here's some issues with this particular point is I believe that women, listen, if you're a woman or a man and you're teaching on a Sunday, you shouldn't be teaching at all. You're teaching doctrines of demons, right? If you are not keeping the Shabbat, the seventh day, you shouldn't be teaching at all. Nobody has authority to even be teaching. if you are keeping the Sabbath, and that is you're keeping the Torah, and you're teaching the Torah, and your family keeps the Torah, and your wife keeps the Torah, and that is what your entire world is about, and you feel like you can teach the Torah, then you should be able to. And a group of women or a woman is going to respond far better to another woman who understands what the Torah is. It's a different thing. Men are going to get men, women are going to get women. So if the women don't go out there fishing for men because they think Brother Shaul has said to be silent, that's just a problem. That means we've lost a ton of people that should be fishing for men, that should be reaching the girls and women, the youth, where if you're waiting for a guy to come minister to you, it's a different thing. Women are soft, men are hard, right? It's just the way it is. And a man is going to respond to a man far better than a woman is going to respond to a woman. So I don't understand what Shaul is even talking about. Maybe he's writing back to Timothy, who's in Ephesus, and there are a giant group of Amazonian women that are over 6 feet tall, that all weigh a good 300. And every time they start speaking, they start shaking their spears, and eventually they start chucking their spears. So Brother Shaul says, hey, don't let it, it's like, I don't know. Yes, it's a joke, but we do not know what he's writing to Timothy about. Honestly, we have half of a conversation here. So we don't know. And if we're putting a doctrine on this and we're crippling our females who should be out teaching the Torah, right? We should all be teaching the Torah. That's every one of our jobs, right? We should be zit wearing Torah, spewing Yah loving Christo, spouting people, our Yahushua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. That's what we should be doing. All of us, we should be giant lights flashing, right? All over. If we're not doing that, we're not doing our job. So my female friends out there, my ladies and guys who are out there, encourage your women to reach out to other women and teach the Torah. I don't, unless somebody has a commandment in the Torah, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, that makes any kind of sense that is a commandment from Yah, I see Paul as adding to and taking away from the Word of God by this simple thing. Let's finish up. Or try to. Verse 13, for Adam was first formed, then Kawa, which is, her name was Eve. We know her as Eve. Her name was never Eve. This is more, 1611 King James Version stuff. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression. Wait a second. I have no idea what he's talking about, because there's no one righteous when it came to Adam and Eve, right? Adam had a choice, and he made that same choice Eve did. Yes, he was sold the deal by his wife, but he still knew the laws, statutes, and commands, and he knew he was not supposed to eat of that fruit. Right? That is the gig. He is as responsible for this. And as I dig my field every single day, and I have thorns and rocks and things in this, I look up to the sky, I'm like, Adam! It's like he gave us all this horrible stuff in the land. It's harder to produce. And, women have been cursed with horrible stuff, with cycles and childbirth and things of that nature that men would just drop over, freaked out. If men had to do this every single month, they would be freaked out. It wouldn't be good. That's why women are built like women and men are built like men. Okay, so I don't believe that either. So I don't believe this is correct. Yes, Adam was deceived. He says Adam was not deceived. That's not the truth. That is not the truth. So anyway, verse 15, notwithstanding, she shall be safe in childbearing if they continue in faith and love and holiness with sobriety. Okay, so there you have this. Guys, if you can let me know what you think, I would really appreciate it. Did I miss something? Is Paul off the reservation? It's hard to put together a one-sided conversation, right? Again, we have zero idea. This Brother Shaul, may be completely accurate for the situation that got written to him about. We just don't know, right? And so it's dangerous. So anyway, read your Bibles. Much love to everyone out there. I am out.